So today's lesson is 11.3, solving multiple step equations. Step 1, uses distributive property if necessary. So whenever you see a problem, you should ask yourself, first, do I have to do distributive property? And then second, is there any terms that I have to combine? Combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. Step 2 is isolate the variable by using inverse operation. So let's look at step number 1. So here I make a line. There's nothing to do on the right, so I'm just going to keep writing 14. Is there any distributive property here? There is none, so we don't have to do distributive, now combining like terms. But before I combine like terms, I'm going to change my subtraction to addition and make the opposite of +1 to -1. Same thing here, change that subtraction to addition, make +2n, -2n. I can combine 7n and 2n because those are combined, they're like terms, or -2n. So 7n plus -2n is 5n. So I write 5n plus -1, that's what's left over, is equal to 14. There's nothing to do on that 14. Okay, so I'm going to bring down that 14 again. Now you look, you want to get rid of the number that is not next to n, which is -1. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. The ones cancel out. You're left with 5n is equal to 14 plus 1 is 15. Okay, to get n by itself, this means multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So you're going to divide by 5 on both sides. And n is equal to 3 because 15 divided by 5 is 3. All right. Now, if you wanted to do your check, I'm not going to require you to do your check, but if you wanted to see if you were correct, here's what you do. Rewrite the original problem, 7n plus -1 plus -2n is equal to 14. Replace your n's with 3, so you have 7 times 3 plus -1 plus -2 times 3 is equal to 14. Multiplication by order of operations, so 7 times 3 is 21 plus -1 plus -2 times 3 is -6 is equal to 14. Now for me, I would do -1 plus -6, so you have 21 plus -7 is equal to 14, and 14 is equal to 14 because 21 plus -7 is 14, and that checks out. So that's how you do your check. You replace your variable with the number that you get, and you should equal the other side. So now let's look at number 2. Number 2 says 3 parentheses x minus 1 plus 8 is equal to 14. So first ask yourself, is there a distributive property? And your answer is yes. But before I start distributing, I'm going to make my subtraction sign addition and make this a -1. So now I'm going to distribute. 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times -1 is -3. Everything else I'm going to copy down. Okay, second step was combining like terms. Is there anything you can combine like terms? Yes, there is. You have a -3 and you have an 8. You can combine those like terms. So you're left with 3x plus -3 plus 8 is 5 is equal to 14. You want to get rid of the 5 because it's not next to the variable, but it's on the same side as the variable. So you're going to subtract 5 on both sides. And you're going to left with 3x is equal to 9. To get x by itself, you're going to divide, so you make your division line, by 3 on both sides. And x is equal to 3. Now to do your check, remember you're going to replace your variable with the x. And then from there, you can just solve by order of operation. Try number 3 and 4 on your own, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and push play. So here, I'm going to change my subtraction sign to addition and make this a negative, and then I'm going to start doing my distributive property. 4 times t is 4t, plus 8 times -8 is -32, plus 20 equals 5. I can combine like terms now. So I have negative 32 and 20. So you have 4t plus negative 12 is equal to 5. To get, I'm going to get rid of the negative 12 because it's on the same side as the variable, but it's not next to the variable, so I'm going to add 12 on both sides. You're left with 4t is equal to 17. You're going to divide by 4 on both sides, and t is equal to, well, 4 goes into 17 4 times. Your remainder is 1, so 4 and 1/4. Or you could have done a decimal, be 4.25. Either one of those are acceptable. Okay, number 4. Now for some of you guys, this way might look confusing, so you can switch it around. You could have negative 5 parentheses 3 plus w plus 7 is equal to 17. You can switch that around if you need to, but I'm going to do it this way. So on this side is 17 because there's nothing to do on that side. Now here you're going to do your distributive property. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15 plus 5 times, negative 5 times w is negative 5w plus 7. Combining like terms, you have your negative 15 and 7. So you have 17 is equal to negative 8 plus negative 5w. You're going to add 8 to get rid of the 8 on both sides. And you're left with negative 5w is equal to 25. Divide by negative 5 on both sides. And w is equal to, make sure it's negative. I lose, so I know it's the negative, and it's negative 5. All right, let's look at number 5 and 6. Okay, 5, same thing. Make your line here. Can you distribute anything? You can't, but you can combine like terms. So you're going to combine 0.4h and 0.4h. So you have 8.44 is equal to 0.8h plus 6.92. You want to get rid of negative 6.92 on both sides. Make sure your decimals line up. Okay, so 0.8h is equal to 1.52. You divide by 0.8 on both sides. So h is equal to, now you have to divide, 0.8, divide that by 1.52. You have to move the decimal over one space, move the decimal over one place, carry that decimal up. 8 goes into 15 once, which is 8. Subtract and you get 72. And 8 goes into 72 9 times, which is 72. Okay, number 6. Remember, there is an imaginary 1 right here. Okay, so it's really imaginary negative 1. Change your subtraction sign to addition and make this a negative 5. Now you can do your distributive property. You have your 9 on the left side. You're going to distribute negative 1 times r is negative 1r. And then plus negative 1 times 5 is positive 5 plus 11. Combining like terms, you have your 5 and 11, so you have 9 equals negative 1r plus 16. Okay, you need to get rid of the 16 that's not next to the variable, so minus 16 on both sides. And you're left with negative 1r is equal to negative 7. Okay. You have to get r positive, so you have to divide by negative 1. So r is equal to 7.